I never thought I'd be confessing this to you like this, my hands trembling as the words spill out in the quiet dark. But last night, my sister-in-law Emma's sultry seduction rewired my deepest cravings in one forbidden night. It was supposed to be a simple visit while my wife Sarah was away on business. But when Emma pinned me against the kitchen counter and breathed, "I've wanted this for years," the taboo line was crossed before I could even pretend to stop her. I'm just a regular married guy. 5 years with Sarah, steady job, quiet evenings at home that felt safe and predictable, the kind where we'd share the same couch, the same routines, and I told myself the comfort was enough. Emma, her younger sister, has always crashed at our place when she needs to, her suitcase landing in the guest room like it belonged there, her laugh filling the spaces between our days with something brighter, warmer than it should have. I never let myself linger on it. She was family, off-limits, the sister who showed up with stories and left the air a little charged, but I buried any stray thought under layers of guilt and loyalty. Last night Sarah's flight left early, the storm rolling in heavy and relentless rain hammering the windows like it knew something I didn't. Emma showed up soaked through, clothes clinging with the chill, laughing as she stepped inside and said she cowed at face driving home in that mess. I handed her a towel, helped with her bag, everything feeling normal at first the way it always did when she was around. But then the lights dimmed from the storm's flicker, and the house felt suddenly, dangerously empty. Just the two of us, the rain creating the sealed-off world where the outside faded and the air grew thick with what was being said. We were pouring wine in the kitchen to chase the cold, the bottle cool against my palm, the red swirling into glasses with a soft glug that sounded too loud in the quiet. That's when I caught her staring at me the way no sister-in-law should, her eyes heavy, lingering, tracing my face like she'd been waiting years to look without hiding. Her jasmine and vanilla perfume wrapped around me like a secret, sweet and warm, mixing with the rain still clinging to her skin, flooding my senses until I forgot how to breathe normally. When her fingers brushed mine reaching for the same glass, heat shot straight through me, a rush that left my skin tingling where we touched, my pulse stumbling over itself. I pulled back too fast, muttering something about the glass being slippery, but the almost moment hung there, electric and unforgiving, her breath warm in the small space between us. For the first time I admitted to myself that the pull had always been there, simmering under every family dinner those nights she'd sit across from me, her laugh pulling my eyes, her shoulder grazing mine when she reached for something, the glances I caught when Sarah wasn't looking. It always shoved it down, ashamed, telling myself it was nothing, just imagination because she was Sarah's sister, the one person whose name should have been a wall I never even approached. Yet now, with Sarah gone and the storm sealing us in, the denial cracked wide open, the ache rising like the thunder outside, heavy and insistent. My mind split right there in the dim kitchen, heart hammering with the shame of it. This is wrong, I thought, Sarah's face flashing behind my eyes, our 5 years, the vows, the life we built. How could I even notice the way Emma's damp hair curled at her neck, the warmth radiating from her so close I could feel it through the thin air? A deep craving it ignored for years, tugging at me with a gravity that made my chest tight, my breath shallow. I should have stepped back, found an excuse about the weather or the power or anything to break the pull. But I stayed, frozen in the almost, her fingers hovering near mine on the counter, not touching again but close enough that the space between us felt alive, magnetic, dangerous. The scent of her perfume kept wrapping tighter, the rain's rhythm matching the rush in my ears, and I felt myself drowning in the forbidden weight of it all, ashamed and aching at once, knowing the pull was just real. It was waking something I could no longer pretend was there. The storm outside seemed to hold its breath for a moment as she set her glass down on the counter, the quiet clink of it landing like the first crack in the wall we'd both been pretending was solid. She stepped close, her body moving with a purpose that left no space for doubt, and before my mind could catch up, her lips were on mine slow, deliberate, no hesitation at all. My hands froze on her waist, the silk of her blouse cool and smooth under my palms, a thin layer that did nothing to stop the heat building between us, but her mouth was already teaching me how wrong this felt. How badly I needed it. That single kiss shattered the last polite boundary between us, leaving me breathless, the world reduced to the soft pressure of her lips and the way my entire body responded with a hunger I couldn't name. We stumbled backward then, the kitchen fading as we found the couch, sinking into it together with her body pressed so completely into mine that there was no room left for air or excuses. Her form settled against me, the weight and warmth of her creating this gravity I couldn't escape, thighs framing me in a way that made my fingers tremble as they brushed the lace edge hidden beneath the fabric of her clothes. This is Sarah's sister. The thought tore through me, heart hammering with a guilt that felt like it could break me, Sarah's face swimming in my vision. Our shared history, the life we had built, all screaming at me to stop. Yet my hands kept sliding higher, chasing the scent of her skin that now smelled like pure temptation, warm and inviting and utterly dangerous. Desire won the first round, sweeping away the shame in one powerful rush that left me dizzy and wanting more. We broke apart eventually, both of us breathing hard, the sound ragged and intimate in the dim room where the rain continued its relentless patter. My mind spun in these frantic loops. One kiss. That's all it had been. No one will ever know. Sarah's gone for 3 days, tied up in that conference across the state, the house hours alone under the sealed-off sky. This doesn't have to mean anything, I repeated silently. It could be a fleeting thing, a secret swallowed by the storm. But then, the practical lake of the past months collided with it. All the way routine had dulled everything, left me craving a spark, a touch that actually ignited something deep inside. It clashed against the screaming voice declaring this betrayal, this crossing of a line that could never be uncrossed, but the ache was louder, looping louder, drowning out the guilt with its insistent pull until I could barely hear the warnings anymore. The months of the same old pattern, the same predictable nights that had left me feeling empty inside. They screamed for this, for something that felt like fire instead of fading embers, clashing violently with the voice that reminded me of every vow, every shared memory. But the ache looped louder, drowning it all out in waves that made my hands itch to reach for her again. The scent of her still clung to me, that jasmine and vanilla wrapping around my senses like a spell I didn't want to break. Her breath warm against my skin from how close we'd been, and the internal war raged on, shame twisting like a knife in my gut, while the craving built higher, louder, making every second without her touch feel like an eternity of thirst. The rain kept hammering the windows, mirroring the chaos in my chest, pulling me deeper into this forbidden gravity. And as her fingers hovered near mine once more, not quite touching but close enough to send that electricity surging again, I knew the rationalization was cracking under the weight of it all. And part of me was terrified, yet completely unable to look away from what might come next. And then everything went black as the storm slammed its full weight against the house. Candlelight bloomed moments later, soft and golden, painting the living room in warm, trembling shadows that made every breath feel heavier, more dangerous. Closing around Mike, she'd been waiting for the dark to give her permission. She led me upstairs without a word, each step pulling us deeper into the quiet where the rain on the roof became a living thing, loud enough to hide sins. The guest room door clicked shut behind us, and she turned, her body so close I could feel the heat radiating through the thin space left between us. "We're alone," she whispered, her breath brushing my neck like a secret the thunder had no right to hear. "The rain will cover every sound." The universe itself had stepped in, handed us this perfect, sealed-off excuse wrapped in wind and water, and my last polite boundary dissolved under the weight of it. In the flickering glow, her presence filled the room completely, drawing me until there was nothing but the almost touch of her form against mine, the slow gravity that made my pulse stutter and race. A low R&B track drifted from her phone, its heavy bass vibrating through the air like a second heartbeat, matching the way we moved together in that suspended space where nothing was felt. The warmth of her skin pressed so near it burned, trembling just enough to tell me she was as lost as I was, her perfume curling around us until the whole world narrowed to that scent and the ache it stirred. We came together again and again in those waves of closeness, each one deeper, the electricity humming between us rising until my hands forgot how to stay still, chasing the line where her breath caught and held. Her body guided the rhythm, slow and insistent, every shared inch of heat rewriting the rules it lived by, making the months of empty routine feel like a distant, colorless dream I no longer wanted to remember. Between those rising surges I pulled back just enough to gasp against her ear, "We have to stop, this is wrong." The words cracking open with the shame that still lived inside me, Sarah's face flashing behind my eyes like a warning I cowldn't quite obey. She only smiled, that soft, knowing curve of her lips, and shifted so she held every thread of control, drawing me back under with a tenderness that felt sharper than any demand. I told myself in the frantic loops spinning through my mind, one single night to feel this alive after all the quiet years of going through the motions. The guilt flickered again, bright and painful, yet each time it tried to surface she leaned closer, her breath mingling with mine until the hesitation itself turned into something that only fed the fire, making the forbidden ache pulse stronger, sweeter, impossible to escape. Higher the stakes climbed with every shared tremble, every almost moment where our lips hovered a breath apart and the rain kept its promise to swallow the rest, until the moral war inside me started to blur into the same rhythm that pulled us closer still. And just when I thought the candlelight might give out before we did, her fingers traced the edge of my collar in a way that sent fresh hunger crashing through me, her eyes locking on mine with a question that needed no words, leaving me hanging on the very brink of how much further this night could unravel everything I thought I knew about myself. That question in her eyes left me suspended there, the room thick with the kind of silence that makes your pulse loud in your ears, her warmth so near it felt like the air itself was charged, waiting for me to tip over the edge. Then the phone on the nightstand lit up, cutting through the soft glow like an intruder from another world. Sarah's text glowed on the screen, "Miss you already." At that exact second, with Emma's body pressed so close in the dim light, her breath mingling with mine in shallow rhythms that betrayed how much she felt it too, her eyes daring me to choose, to reach or to stay. The decision slammed into me like a wall I hadn't prepared for, forcing a binary I couldn't dodge. Stop everything now. Answer her message, pretend this night was nothing more than a fleeting slip under the cover of rain, or surrender completely and face the truth that I was already changed forever, my deepest cravings reshaped by this forbidden pull. Guilt clawed at me, sharp and familiar, flashing images of Sarah's smile, our shared mornings, the life we'd built brick by careful brick. Yet here, in this hidden space where the storm outside kept our secrets, Emma didn't pull away. She stayed right there, her fingers hovering an inch from my chest, the heat radiating through the fabric making my skin prickle with awareness, her quiet breath against my neck whispering temptations I tried to ignore. The war inside split me clean into "I have to stop. This is wrong, she's family. This will ruin us all," but the other half whispered back, louder each time, "I can't stop. Not when it feels this alive, this necessary after all the numb years." Every almost moment stretching the tension until it hummed like a live wire between us, the rain on the roofist eddy drum masking the storm brewing in my chest. I chose. My hand moved before my mind could catch up, tossing the phone aside into the shadows where its light faded, unanswered, the old world set aside for this one irreversible night. I gave in with everything I had, drawing her nearer, letting the gravity of her presence take over as we moved together in that slow, breathless rhythm of shared heat and trembling closeness. Each surge of electricity between us rewrote something deeper, chasing away the emptiness I'd carried like a shadow until there was only the now, only her, only this dangerous surrender. When we finally eased down together, bodies still humming with the aftershocks, collapsed in a tangle of warmth and quiet breaths, I knew it in my core. My cravings had been permanently rewired. Only Emma's touch, only this forbidden heat that had ignited in one night, would ever be enough to satisfy me again. Nothing, not the life waiting outside or the guilt that would surely follow, would ever feel the same. The rain continued its gentle patter as dawn crept closer, but inside me everything had unraveled and reformed around this new hunger, leaving a bittersweet acceptance that lingered like smoke after the fire. Even now, recounting it to you in the quiet hours, the memory pulls at me with that same ache, a haunting reminder of what I gained and what I lost in those stolen hours. So there it is, my raw, unfiltered confession of how one forbidden night with my sister-in-law destroyed and rebuilt every desire I thought I had. Be honest in the comments, have you ever crossed a line this dangerous? Felt the pull that made stopping feel like the real betrayal? Would you have stopped when the phone lit up, clinging to what was safe, or would you have done exactly what I did, surrendering to the change that left you craving only what you shouldn't want? Tell me. I'm reading every single reply, heart still caught in that night, wondering if the longing ever fades or if it simply waits for the next time the rain falls.